What's up guys, this is Sunny back with another video. Today real quick I'm going to share with you guys AMD Ryzen 3 3100 CPU. I recently received this CPU like a couple days back and I've been so excited to test this CPU. I just didn't know what type of content I should make with this CPU because I can easily test a couple of the games and show you guys the gaming benchmark. Then it's just boring, you know. So I wanted to make this benchmark a little bit more interesting, so I was like, you know what, let me compare this CPU with my current AMD Ryzen 5 3600 CPU. I know what you guys thinking, like that's not fair maybe because the CPU goes for more money. Also this CPU have 6 core 12 thread. Now the only reason I wanted to compare this CPU because both of these CPUs are based on TSMC 7 nanometer and both of these CPUs are Zen 2, so these are based on same architecture. So that's the reason I was like, you know what, let me compare these and let me see how these CPUs perform. Now I know Ryzen 3 3300X will perform better than Ryzen 3 3100, but guys, I couldn't find Ryzen 3 3300's X CPU anywhere. I bought this Ryzen 3100 CPU from B&H Photo and they had the CPU like couple days ago for sale when I purchased the CPU for $108. The CPU is supposed to go for around $99, but I understand B&H maybe just adding the $8 tax or something, so I was like, you know what, it's okay. Now the reason I'm comparing this CPU with my AMD Ryzen 3 3200G CPU because both of these CPUs are quad core, but I know there is a gap between the generation because Ryzen 3 3200G CPU based on TSMC 12 nanometer. Also this CPU is Zen Plus, not Zen 2. I know the difference, but the reason I wanted to compare because I wanted to compare Ryzen 3 3100 with another quad core CPU. Ryzen 3 3100 comes with 4 core 8 threads and Ryzen 3 3200G comes with 4 core 4 threads. Now I will pair these CPUs with my favorite graphics card right here. Actually that's the box and I have the card right here. XFX RX5700 DD Ultra, and this card I purchased this card a long time ago when this card was on sale for $329, and I'm really impressed with this card performance. The fan is a bit loud under full load, but other than that I even managed to flash this card with Rx5700 XT BIOS and this card was performing really well. Now I did flash this card with the OEM BIOS just for testing purpose. So if you guys are planning on buying the same card and you are not planning on flashing BIOS, so I want you guys to see the exact performance you will get out of this card with these CPUs. Alright, so the motherboard I have for this test, my favorite motherboard, a Gigabyte B450M DS3H. This motherboard support AMD Ryzen 3000 series CPU out of the box. Also this motherboard goes for around $72, but guys, keep one thing in mind, currently price is all over because of the pandemic, so please keep that in mind. Maybe you are not going to get this motherboard for this same price I paid. So I paid around $72. Maybe you will pay a little bit more or maybe less. Now this motherboard is a ATX motherboard, and the reason I'm using this motherboard with this CPU is because I'm planning on building a $500 gaming PC with this AMD Ryzen 3 3100 CPU. So I just want to show you guys how this motherboard performs. Now the RAMs I have here, these are XPG 3000 megahertz RAMs. These are CL16. Now I can overclock these RAMs to 3200 megahertz. Now guys, keep in mind, if you're planning on buying new RAMs right now and you have a Ryzen build or you're planning on building a Ryzen computer, please go with higher megahertz RAMs like 3600 megahertz and also go with 16 gigs of RAM. Alright, and the power supply we'll be using for this test, GAMDIAS ASTRAPE P1 750G 80 plus gold. We are not going to use a case right now for this testing purpose. I'll just set up everything on the box, and like I say, stay tuned for $500 gaming PC build. Should come soon, maybe next week sometime. Now that's my boot drive right here, SanDisk Ultra 2 240 gig SSD, and I have all my games on this drive right here, Western Digital 1 terabyte. I have 12 games here. We are not going to overclock the CPU, okay? We are not going to use aftermarket cooler because we want to see how this CPU performs with stock clock speed and with stock cooler, okay? So let's jump in. All right guys, so we are all set. Now we can test these CPUs with XFX Rx5700 graphics card, and keep in mind we are not going to overclock the CPU. That's why we are using the stock cooler. Alright guys, hopefully you guys did enjoy my gaming benchmark. I wanted to run a couple more games and I wanted to test, but I couldn't because I was busy with some other stuff. But these CPUs right here performed really well paired with Rx5700 graphics card. I was impressed. I was impressed how Ryzen 3 3200G was performing with 4 core 4 thread, and this CPU is Zen Plus, not Zen 2. So but definitely this benchmark was really entertaining and really fun. Now I want to talk about this stock cooler I was using. So just because I was using stock cooler with Ryzen 5 3600, I couldn't hit the max boost clock 4.2 gigahertz. The max clock speed I got around 4 gigahertz, 65 watt TDP. So their TDP is same. Now with Ryzen 3 3100 with stock cooler, I managed to hit 3.9 gigahertz, the max boost. And with Ryzen 3 3200G with stock cooler, I managed to hit 3.988. So there was like almost 4 gigahertz. I personally think Ryzen 5 3600 for $50 to $60 extra, definitely worth it if you're planning on doing some other stuff more than gaming, like streaming, maybe workstation purpose. You want to use this CPU, definitely Ryzen 5 3600 is a great option. Now Ryzen 3 3100, also a great CPU, 4 core 8 threads, definitely great for gaming. Okay, definitely performed really well. I was impressed. And Ryzen 3 3200G is basically for someone who's not looking to spend a lot of money, who's maybe not even looking to buy a graphics card, because this CPU have built-in Vega 8 graphics, so you really don't need a graphics card if you're planning on playing like 1080p low or mid setting games or 720p games. So guys, real quick, I just wanted to share with you guys my thoughts, and I'm really happy with the Ryzen 3 3100 performance. If you guys do like this video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. And next week I will have a $500 gaming / Hackintosh build coming, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright guys, see you guys next one.